Hello everyone, this is Makiko from Reiki Lab. This is the Contract Bootcamp Round 2. So welcome everyone. This time we picked the Google Hangout style so everybody could see it, and people dropping off and coming back in. It's a little crazy in the beginning, but we'll settle.
Just have a little problems with audio, I think.
I have a problem with audio?
No. Just a couple people are.
Okay. It may be a good idea if you hear the feedback. It's a good idea to mute. Otherwise, I encourage to leave it on and jump in as it goes. I got a really good feedback from the last session. Some people felt that we didn't go through the material fast enough. So what I'm going to do today, we're going to go through the highlights of the question from the last session. Valerie going to kind of pick a couple of the important points, and then I will just quickly answer to that. And then I'm just going to go through the highlight of the Earth history, and perhaps you could stop me after. I will take a question afterwards. So you get some overarching theme first, and then we could get into the meat of it. I think we have enough time to do that. Oh, thanks God, Ryan is here. Hello, Ryan. Can you hear me, and then can you speak up so we could hear you? Okay. Hello. Can you use a side chat bar, while you're on the phone? We can hear you.
You can always type anything you need to say on the side too, if you'd like.
Okay, that will be interesting. Hopefully, at least he could hear us. All right. Valerie, do you have any key points or any questions from last session you want to highlight?
Well, I just took notes last time on several different things that we talked about, and made sure that I wrote down several things. Did you want me to read pretty much over the notes, or?
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable.
Did you want me to read what everybody wanted to manifest first? Or does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. What I wanted to manifest last week, and I still do, is prosperity for everyone in this world, so that they may start rebuilding. All of us can start rebuilding and healing the earth and ourselves. Okay. And Makiko's was she has a want to manifest a Castle in the Sky project, Reiki School, Stop Hunger project, Art and Dance for Children, and to find her passion or love in her life, which is wonderful. And Ryan, he says he is intending to empower his healing offerings and be a healer. He is looking forward to having many ceremonies in no time to offer for all interested in the healing within. He will return to the sacred neutral and offer himself in complete transparency and unity consciousness. He's looking to reconnect to his Mother Earth and live and give off of the earth. He also wants to create music to ring through all that is. Wants to get in tune with all of his abilities and write a book or a user manual for the human body that we didn't get at birth. And love to all, and appreciates being here and now with everyone. Okay, and then we had Zane, and his intention was to heal the earth and humanity through the process of self-healing and self-discovery. He is a servant in the divine plan, intends to leave his body through meditation and inner reflection to experience the divine plan, intends to love his body through meditation and inner reflection to experience his divine spirit self, intends to let go of all energies and contracts which are not serving his higher purpose at this time. That's just wonderful, Zane. And Harris. He's wishing for and wanting to manifest an abundance in everything: prosperity, unconditional love, peace, harmony, balance, finance, joy, excitement, clarity, best health, magic, miracles, wonderful accomplishments, beautiful, wonderful relationships, and best quantum crystal health. And Michelle wishes for the same thing. And there you have it. That was all of our manifestations for last week. And I think every one of them are just wonderful, beautiful, touching manifestations. Makiko?
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much. And don't forget to continue to manifest. And the peak of the energy is February 1st, and it lasts until February 22nd. So don't forget to keep adding the energy to it. Will happen. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Is there any particular area of the question that you notice that we should cover before we move on?
I kind of had a question myself about what exactly the matrix is.
Oh.
I know we covered that a little bit last week, but I didn't clearly understand that myself. Okay.
Yes.
And then we did cover a few things for clarifying your body and your spirit, different things that we all try for cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
And those were all very wonderful, such as like a sage bath with Epsom salt, Himalayan salt, lemon water combo to drink, kind of staying away from meat and dairy, and using maybe some essential oils for cleansing the water, cleansing your air, just helping you to relax and helping you with increasing your manifestations. Yeah. And also there is toning, Reiki over your water, Reiki over your food, being thankful for your food, making sure that you're grateful for everything you put into your body. Mm-hmm. I also like to use a really good smoothie that's green apples, pineapple, kale, spinach, and you add a little water, blend it all up really nice. It's a great green smoothie in the morning. It just gets your body up and running right away. So that kind of covers a little bit more about what we did talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
And I didn't really receive any questions from anyone else in the meantime in the week, so I think you did a pretty good job.
Wonderful. Well, everybody is so damn smart, already know everything. So just quickly, it's actually a good question that I call matrix. So, in general, matrix is pretty much everything everywhere. But I want to make sure that when I speak about the matrix here, is the 3D matrix purposefully, intentionally put it over on us for the last 500,000 years. It's away from, it was purposely put to separate us from Prime Creator. So that is a matrix, 3D matrix that we are talking through entire this bootcamp. The contract revocation is for that primarily. The matrix, the artificially put it over to suppress humanity from ascension, and also the disconnected. We are disconnected because the matrix from the source, the Prime Creator. Unless we try to do something, we will stay disconnected. That's why many of us are having a hard time to connect to the infinite source of the light, as well as connect to the heartbeat of Earth Mother. So that was a system be put in place for thousands of lifetime. So even that, we can remember, even our ancestor is disconnected, right? So that is because the matrix put it over us for that long, thousands of years. So this is why I think it's important to cover the Earth history. Now there is another matrix, in a grid called Archon grid. That is a fourth dimensional realm. Again, this is put forth by the same entity. This is to force us reincarnate rather than incarnate natural way. So that's called Archon grid, which been dismantled at this moment. However, because we've been this reincarnation, or fake Archon grid, so many generations, if we're not if you're not aware, we just go automatically going the same thing, right? Or if you happen to die in a sacred geometry building, still so much energy there. So we end up going back to the natural way of incarnation process. So that's a fourth dimensional arcane grid, which we'll go over, we'll touch upon. It's at time it could become quite dark. So this is why it's so important throughout this boot camp. Please do meditation, do cleanse your body, mental, emotional, spiritual body. It's important to stay neutral. So this is specifically for folks who have enough appetite to explore the mind, expand the consciousness, and it's a boot camp, so it's a muscle testing. So each time you get upset or feel your heart contracting, don't judge yourself. It's a good point to take note. That is an area that you just need to work on more, right? So please be kind to yourself, kind to others, kind to whoever the judging you. So this is kind of like, how do you say this? It's a good place, good safe place to practice and understand yourself, because that's the most important thing. Nobody else, just you. Let's going through this screen.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Makiko. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We going over the matrix.
Yes. Well, I will explain to you even more detail, because matrix. A lot of people has a slightly different idea on the matrix, but it's not only the matrix. Matrix it's just a framework, and there is so much more layer to it. Some understand it more in depth than others. So we take this slowly. And if you want me to explain deeper for some, some
Oh, that's
folks,
okay.
Okay.
For right now, I'm good.
All right. Stop and go, right? Okay, let's start screen sharing.
Can I quick tell about the dream that I had from after the last one?
Yes.
Yeah, after the last class that we had, I had this really strange dream where I had met a couple right away in my dream. They were really very ancient, elderly people, and I didn't recognize them on first sight at all. They needed some help with caring for them, and so I was helping them and caring for them, and I called them grandmother, grandfather, and felt the love swelling in my chest, like I knew them, but I didn't know them in my lifetime, this lifetime. But I did know them very well, and so throughout the night I cared for them, and then when I woke up in the morning, I felt my heart was like really missing them. Just immense pain in my heart, of someone gone in my life that I really, really cared about. But I still didn't recognize their faces, quite honestly. I did not know who they were at all. So Makiko and I had a little discussion about it, and it turns out that they are from another lifetime. So it was just very, very interesting and such a profound thing to have happen right after the class that evening. So I just wanted to share that with everyone.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So you will explain, everybody's different, but as you revoke and as you become more and more neutral, you will more and more you become more the higher vibration, to where you could access a Akashic record, you could access to your past life, you could access to your future self as you wish. Now, so that's like what Valerie went through is exactly that. She went through and she resonated with some of the revocation, and she was able to clear some of the things. So this is why the healing is so important. What Sarah does, those sounds healing, and all other people do the healing. More you heal, the more veil will reveal. So thank you, Valerie. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and the toning is wonderful. I listen to Sarah all the time, and now Michelle's doing it too. So if you guys get a chance, and now that you're interested and familiar with the Google Plus, feel free to join in on any of our hangouts. You're always welcome. We're really friendly, like a family here. So you are definitely welcome, and definitely take part in some of those things that we offer.
That's a good ask. Thank you. Did I came off with a screen sharing? Okay. All right. Let's start. All right. So we just did a quick review. Does anybody see that screen correct?
Planetary alignment, please share your experience.
Okay. I'm not sure that anybody wants to share experience, or it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Time is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's lining up. I'm gonna skip this, and then if you want to share, please put on the sidebar. We'll correct that and share that later. So don't forget to manifest. I think we did this kind of. So learning from the round 1, forgiveness, healing, knowingness, knowledge, expand the mind, break down the wall of extreme duality, get over and learn, create your own version. So those are a quick review from the round 1. In Korea, you're going to do this, it's a process. You're going to kind of continue to do this cycle. That's funny that Valerie just asked.
Back on.
Okay, I hear you, Dave. Is it Dave?
Yeah, it was off. It kicked me off, but it just went back on. What is the matrix? Is your current screen?
Yes, good. I'm glad you were able to join. I think we went over, but it's really the illusion, reality invasion technology, or some people call artificial intelligence. And we constantly deal with artificial intelligence. It's actually this system or machine was being put by galactic universal being for the purpose for the Earth. Consciousness to expand and to deal with karma being in place. So this wasn't placed by malicious purpose in the beginning. What galactic universal being for the purpose for the Earth. Why I'm hearing my voice again? And to deal with karma being in place. So this wasn't placed by malicious purpose in the beginning. Is it? I think
Maybe
the
you tried
YouTube.
muting.
No, I think YouTube being studied. If somebody could stop the, is it me? YouTube link would be great. Thank you. All right, thank you. So the matrix is created by few. We briefly discuss about this 50 multi-dimensional entities. Just so that for your knowledge, I think the last year I heard the majority of them left from this universe. Right now, there's 6 of them are here. It could be fewer now. Basically, this matrix is limit our awareness and harvest our energy, and both consciousness, but also money and time. That's another form of energy, especially for 3D, and control human race and claim ownership of Earth and beyond. Basically, their goal is to become a prime creator here and everywhere else. So that's basically their ultimate goal. And the matrix is just a framework and structure, the system in place to do this, to accomplish this. So basically, who those are, we kind of cover briefly. I'm going to go over this very quickly because we're going to come back to this place again. So biggest offenders, so-called, who put these things on and why we are paying this karmic debt, including ours and mostly not ours. So it's one of the biggest offender is a banking system, or the whoever control bank, and the military industrial complex, which is a government, but more specifically military industrial complex, media, and in artificial intelligence installer, which is called controllers. Those are the major ones that we're dealing with. This is why our contracts are written by this order. We have all that for the bank and the government for to the media, and program put in place, which is really violation of sacred feminine and sacred masculine. I think we're going to skip that. I think we covered this from the last session. And this is basically we covered from the last. I'm just going to go over briefly. So what does revocation do? It's a tool, but it's a quite powerful, fundamental tool. It's a tool so that you understand who you are, connect with your true ancestors, and as you be able to remember or knowingness, you can develop your own ownership and knowingness of what you're about and why you're here. And then hopefully the end of this round, this session, you begin to chisel into your journal and understand a deeper sense of who you are, what you're about, and why you're here, and how you're going to create your own reality, right? I just want to emphasize about this revocation. The revocation is a great tool, but the tool is something come with a practice. So just reading it, it's better than nothing, but it's like a meditation. Just doing a meditation without intention, you will be the same place. You could doing a meditation for 30 years, but it's still the same meditation you did probably 30 years ago. So the same thing with contract revocation. You know, understand what is behind, and as you go deeper with it by taking action, by taking time, and by bringing to yourself and creating a sacred space, make it ceremonial, make it anything, to own your own revocation is important. That comes with a good practice. So as people say, practice make it perfect. Not necessarily. It actually, good practice make it perfect. So I'm trying my best to relay the message from Andrew's teaching, but also other people, the participants, have their own way of creating their own experiencing and incorporating this teaching. So by teaching, we could learn, but by learning, we could be even better teacher. So this is why we do this as a group. It's much better than just keep doing yourself sometime. So just like a mantra, spiritual contract revocations create a field of a sacred space so that lessons spoken are understood by the multidimensional selves in union with its ancestors. And this has a lot message in it. And it speaks a lot about this revocation. He emphasized always, it's this contract revocation is not just you as a three-dimensional self, but also you're speaking to your other selves, which is operating the time now. And some of you may have more access to that other selves. And then you are actually reading to them as well and sharing the code, sharing the Akashic record for them as well. So it's important to just understand that. Oh, right. A mission on Earth.
Just to add one thing, did you not send out something, different thing we were supposed to read before reading the other? Did I read that right? We were supposed to read.
Oh, the Creating a Field, that one
Yeah.
I posted this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one to read. So Valerie, thank you. Each time before you come into this, I guess I want to say class, I want you to clear your field because we are literally sharing energy. That's why I not necessarily go all those gathering because you bring your entity each time. You bring some spirit sometime to these things. So I want to make sure you clear your field before you come in. So thank you for mentioning. Actually, I have a different things today. Let me see. I have it here. But thank you, Valerie. I don't know how people understand what you just said. So perhaps, Valerie, you probably could send a link from the Facebook and post in a sidebar so people know where to find how.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, how to prepare themselves. I want to touch upon Alcon's forgiveness, but just, since she said that, I'm going to read a shaman's death. It's important for us to bound to Mother Earth and clearing ourselves, bring in our sacred neutral point of perspective. Otherwise, it's difficult, a lesson to go through. It's very important. No matter what we're going to see and believe, always try to be in a sacred neutral standpoint. So this is a good one, one of the good best one. Also, the clearing field of what Barry going to send a link to, that's essential tool as well. There is a series of slides here. I'm going to read one slide, and then next slide, I want to have somebody else read. It's enough slide there that everybody has a chance to voice and read. So I'm gonna start, and then I'm gonna ask as a volunteer to read the next slides. All right. The shaman. I call to my sacred medicine spread, that which aids me in understanding my infinite spirit. The healer's tool have been laid out in ceremonial fashion. I call to the four elements and bring their essence into my sacred healing space in equal co-creation with the all sentient kind. I call to the ancestors of this medicine leading to bring communal balance with the words being manifested in the now. I call to the dreamers of the southern skies, our medium to the innocence of our 7 future generations. I will pass the torch to the next volunteer.
Okay, what were you reading? I'm sorry.
The screen, can you see the screen? Oh, it's
Where
too
were you
small.
at? No, I can see it. Where were you at?
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
Now it's gone.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try. Well, you can see it?
Yeah, I can see it now. Are we starting at the top here?
Yes.
Okay. In this shamanic moment of no time, now I create this communal reading for all sentient kind living on earth now. The shaman's death is the lesson of now. It speaks of life, death, and rebirth as a cyclical process of understanding who we were and who we are now. With every death, there is a rebirth of the self. Some cyclical of shedding of the old self requires us to look at our habit patterns of life. Next.
Yep. Somebody else can read that?
Anyone else want to read? Michelle?
Many patterns lead us out of balance with our needs. Often we confuse our needs with desires. This is the nature of the shaman's death, to see how habitual habit patterns create shells we must learn to discard in this ever-evolving dance of spirit, life, balance with real life. At times, we take back old shells we discard dead long ago just to feel safe and secure. This is the other teaching of the shaman's death. With the new requires new creation, so the body is involved with the whole process of self-evolution. The body is what houses the skills, all habit patterns used to function with the holographic reality blending into our dreaming experience of belief.
Zane?
Yeah, it looks like Zach's mic is down, so he wouldn't be able to read. Does anyone else want to take a chance and read? Harris? No one? Okay, Makiko, go ahead. Oh, okay, there you go, Harris. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. The temporal people of the now are the only ones who have this experience of shedding and creating cyclical with Mother Nature. We, the people of now, have forgotten the detailed ways of our ancestors. So many of us have been brought up on the bosom of mass media. They don't know the truth of our bare feet touching the ground without the chatter of world entertainment in earshot. The songs of the birds in the jungles, the chorus of crickets or flocks of bees speaking, their sacred words as the head in seasonal direction. How do we teach our people to let go of the tit that milks their knowledge from the very breath they breathe? We do this by creating a legacy of truth our 7 future generations' ancestors can touch, feel, and know is future now real.
That was truly beautiful. Anyone else want to take a chance now?
Needs to come on the screen again.
Go ahead, Dave.
All right, let me see if I can open that up so I can read it. There you go. To follow the sacred path of living the shaman's death daily is the greatest discipline one can teach themselves during these times of generational change. Look deep. Somebody cut there. Hello? All right,
No, we could hear you.
I'm back.
Yeah.
No, if somebody makes a noise, it cuts off the screen. So maybe if somebody's not reading, they need to unblock or turn off the mic. I'm hearing whoever has the hat on, the cap on with the little yellow circles. Yeah, yes, you.
Everyone is muted now.
Okay, all right. So I need to go back to what I'm reading because right now I just have your round or star screen. There we go. I'm back. Okay. Look deep into the way you live your life. What can you do to make sacred something in your own belief system? What can you on each day? Okay, what can you do each day to let go of fear, envy, and jealousy, or the 3 nags of shame, blame, and guilt?
Wonderful.
And they are nags. I love the way that was worded. Okay, who would like to try next? Zane, are you able to?
Well, he just did, but Zachary, do you want to try?
Oh, his mic isn't working, he said. I don't know, maybe it is now.
All right.
Not working. It sounded like a cartoon.
That was funny. Sounded like helium.
Well, all right. Anybody else?
Go ahead, Makiko.
See how we torture ourselves with perceived debt created by others. See how you can come to a cyclical process of letting go with the best of intentions. So all that comes back to you is perfect synchronicities with great mystery.
Okay. I call to Great Spirit who lives within great mystery. Who is the source of sources. I call to you in this sacred moment of infinite reflection of who I am and what I am doing in this temporal now. I call to your wisdom so I may see the humbleness of my position within my own soul, family, interaction, so I may nurture all my past and future generations with the wisdom of living in the now. Wow, that's very powerful.
I know. I love this one.
The red coral of the great oceans of Earth Mother have been held sacred by the indigenous peoples of all Earth realms since the dawn of conceptual time. Red coral has been used to gauge all forms of time through the process of long-term nurturing and the lessons learned through allowing time to not affect the nature of our nourishing expression. To nurture one's self is the greatest gift we can return to Earth Mother at this moment in time. By allowing healing to be a process and not an event, we come to the greatest wisdom of why red coral is the Earth Mother's blood teacher.
Thank you.
That is beautiful. I love red coral. It just speaks to me. So that is just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Harris, would you like to try again?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Red coral is of earth blood. It is the link to our sacred heartbeat we all hear deep inside womb time, long before we go through the forgetting of the birth canal. Red coral reminds of the infinite nurturing. Apologies, my son. Okay, red coral reminds of the infinite nurturing in the placenta of the mother's womb. Funny, I'm saying that when he's coming right here.
That's good energy
It's
synchronicity.
beautiful.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. We love it.
It also teaches us when we leave the womb to experience. At birth, a new sacred placenta of void energy encompasses us on our life walk. This new placenta is what we make sacred through the learning of what is in our DNA, our very blood that procreates our version of life on this world.
Mm.
And I would
Nice
like you all to
energy.
notice the red coral in my hand, just how red it really is.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Just beautiful.
I'm getting a chill.
Red coral comes from the great water nurseries of life, the places the whales, dolphins, and tunas go to spawn the 7 future generations of Earth life. We all share red blood on planet Earth. It is the gift she gave us, so union and communion can exist at all levels of creating within Earth realm. Red coral of Earth's waters nurseries represent the very essence of nurturing womb time.
Mm.
I love that.
I love it too. That whale and dolphin.
We, the generations of the now time, bear the responsibility of acting in the now. The ancestors of the past gave us our traditions, cultures, and esoteric practices for us to learn for the future to exist in the now. We must learn how to live in balance with the ancestors of the lands we live on, and be it concrete jungle, urban sprawl, or ancient forests. We are the ones who act in the now.
And, you know, there was never more important words spoken, really, than what that one just was. It doesn't matter where you live. And I have lived in my life for 54 years now, everywhere from the mountains to the middle of the city in Chicago. And it didn't matter where I lived. I always had the plants around me, always remembered my connection to Mother Earth, ran around barefoot.
Yep.
You know, you can connect. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what mood you're in. Always remain connected to the earth as you are part of her.
You know, just saying that, it really, really speaking to my soul, and many other soul heard what you just said. So thank you. Thank you for that.
I find the timing uncanny because my boss, I was talking to him about Inti Raymi in Peru last night, and he mentioned to me, and I found that rather spiritually enlightening. He understood that the cultures that live without shoes are still the ones connected and understand and receive the messages of Mother Earth, whereas those who live on concrete with leather soles and plastic carpets have lost that.
Well said. Now, yeah.
Point being is we don't need to lose it. You know, just take off your shoes when you get home in the evening and just go out and stand in the grass or touch a tree. Connect with that tree. Put your hand on that tree and just feel that vibration. That, you know, you don't have to live where I live by the mountains and in the middle of nature. You can live in the city and still have that very same connection. In fact, I just took a trip to San Diego. I visited with my son, who told me there was no nature there. And we found nothing but nature while I was there. It is there. You just have to look and want to look.
Agree.
And it only takes one tree. The tree has a taproot that goes all the way down 20 feet. You're grounded with that tree.
You know, it's a good point. All the elementals are connected. Even the glass of water connected to basically same as the water in the ocean. So as long as we...
Same when I ground, what Dave just said. When I ground, that's how I envision myself. As my legs go down and are creating roots like a tree, and they're going underneath and connecting with all the other people in all of my neighborhood, in all of my city, in all of my state, in all of the world.
Yes. And
you
don't
really
forget,
can do that.
Yes, don't forget the Mother Earth is not just on the surface, right? Below and above, the consciousness is everywhere. Now, but still, I think it's important to pay attention and stop and think. It's not all of us like you, Valerie. You know. So thank you for sharing that.
Excuse me.
That's okay. I know Zachary can use a mic, but Sarah or anybody else hasn't gone. Would you like to try this one?
Sarah,
did you have something?
Yes, I can read. Was listening. Very good. For the future to exist, we must nurture it with the passion spark. Each person will have an individual journey back into the natural way of life. Our former experience will color our future experience and continue to co-create until we make a clear separation of conscious application of the sacred art of our daily life walk. The rites of passage we all have earned through living on the earth.
Beautiful.
That touches my heart. It really does. Just, wow. These are breathtaking words. Michelle would like to know who wrote these. Is this Andrew?
Yes.
Andrew has a side to him I wasn't aware of.
Michelle, since your name is up, so.
At this moment, suspended in no time, I choose to engage my natural rights as a sovereign-born being on Earth Mother through the natural way of the womb of a sacred feminine.
And at this time, I'd like to honor my mother, my grandmother, and all the women who came before that struggled through only God knows what and brought us into this world and made it possible that we all are here now.
I'm feeling that energy. Thank you. Zane?
I recalibrate all of my soul frequency to the natural way. By making that very choice, you have earned the rights of passage into the next level of knowingness and wisdom, linked to the infinite soul. Each being on earth seeks their own way to connect to the infinite being they are. The process always comes to an understanding of scale and size in which our other selves work at. We walk the rites of passage, we finish the old. We do not fall back onto the old ways of self-deception and self-perversion of sacred living.
Thank you.
By accomplishing the rites of passage means you must upkeep your continuous co-creation with Earth, Mother's realms. It is your sovereign duty. We do this by our elemental connection to all that is. The four-legged, the winged ones, the scaled and soft-shelled, the birds, bees, mermaid, unicorn, ducks, and dinosaurs all have a place in Great Mystery's plan.
Wow, does that ever resonate with me?
Yeah.
I do feel connected to every single thing. My sister came over this summer and said, "You have way too many ants in your yard." And I looked at her and I said, maybe there's way too many people on this earth too. That doesn't mean we take them out. You know?
Yeah.
My yard is completely natural and everything knows it, from the ants to the birds that come to my yard. And it's very noticeable along the road here as you go by. Like, all the animals flock to my home. That's because they know they're respected. It's only natural things used there. There's water and food for every single little thing. And I do think that we need to respect them as if they are our family, because they are.
You reminded me of a very vivid image some years back. My ex and I had literally an open door policy, and in the process of leaving the screen door open, yeah, some ants came in, and so did some flies and the occasional bee, and we never really thought about it after a while. We had opened up the existence to the outside to become the inside, and us to feel free to go outside, and the cats went in and out freely. And when others came and observed, they said, "That's horrible. You can't do that." It broke their view of how to live in that sheltered, protected box. And it was wonderful. I miss that.
Yeah. Thank you. I just want to get a quick thought on this reading. Who hasn't shared? Is it more like do you have any feeling after you read this, or emotion that come up? As Valerie and Dave kind of share. Anybody else like to share?
I could share something from a book I read. It's called Secrets of the Talking Jaguar, and he describes living in the rainforest in, I think it's Guatemala. And he's training to become a shaman, and he talks about meditating as going out into the rainforest, and rather than trying to remove your thoughts and kind of find this isolated space, he practices by opening up all of his senses. So listening, feeling, hearing every little sound, or at other times focusing on one little drawing a circle in the dirt and just watching that one circle for 6 hours or something, seeing the entire universe unfold in that little sphere on the ground.
Wow. That is pretty cool.
That's very nice vision. Zachary can't speak, but I would like to say what he said here for him. He says, Andrew, I choose to be kind to all just for today, including myself. Thank you, Zachary.
That reminded me of Usui Sensei's teaching the Reiki. That is beautiful. You know, that's all we need just for today. We do this like each moment, and that become infinite moment. So that's beautiful, Zachary. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes. Well, it's Sarah. It's interesting because when I was traveling in Ireland, I would find that there were these bees and flies and butterflies, and they would find us all over. And we went to this one place near Tower Hill, and there was this flower called the butterfly flower. Or what? Which one was it? The butterfly flower or the bee flower, Harris? Well, one day we went out. The bees, the flies, and the butterfly was all on these flowers, and they did not mind us touching them.
Wow.
Usually you find bees and butterflies and that sort, they will run away as soon as you try to get close to them. But they all allowed us to touch them because we honored them. We were just
Nice.
floating in that energy of honor to the animals and just allowing ourselves to be one with nature. And it's so interesting. I come back to the city. I'm in Miami, and it's such a disconnect as soon as you arrive, you know, because there's the city, there's the houses, there's plants, but it's not the same as being in total nature surrounding you. And it's just reminding me I need to get back to that, whether or not total nature is around me, I still need to go walk out, get outside, breathe the air, you know, even talk to the animals. Like before I left, I used to talk to all the iguanas who run around, the lizards and the birds, and they come around, the ducks come around too. They're all here. They're all living with us, you know.
I feel it as you speak. I really feel how you feel. It's just like every time I feel I disconnected or I can't trust myself today that I could go through or totally in touch with nature, I pull this out and read out loud. I just read it, and that itself feel that I could trust myself for today. You know, it just take several minutes. It doesn't take too long. You know, someday we can. Someday we're stuck in a meeting. Someday we are in a concrete jungle. You know, but just have that thought and a focus. It will keep you honest. That's one of the teaching. Don't give up. You know. Oh well, I'm in a city. You know. So thank you for sharing that. I'm just so touched. I'm so glad to hear that from you, Sarah.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Are there any plants and things like that around where you live?
There's trees.
Yeah, just even when you get out to do your shopping or anything on your way back in, just take a little stop and reach out and touch the tree. You know,
Right.
just that motion right there It brings you back into nature. And that's what I was explaining to my son. He has all these beautiful bird of paradise and palm trees and all this kind of stuff around his apartment building, and he goes outside all the time with his dog, takes him on dog walks. I'm like, are you serious? You can't find nature? Everywhere I look here, I see nature. It's absolutely beautiful. You know, just touch the plants, touch the trees, you know, get back into contact, take those shoes off, get out there in your grass. It's beautiful, you know. It just, there's a way, even if you're in a town, there really is a way to reconnect yourself with Earth. And Sarah, you're such a beautiful soul. Don't keep yourself from Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Honestly, I actually cried when I read this first, and I think I cried several times even. So, you know, it's good to let it out, and it's good. It's okay. You feel disconnected. We are all, not we all. It's a lot of us being disconnected. It's made it that way. If you live in a city, likely you are next to the sacred geometry building. It take extra effort, and you need to be kind of strong person to overcome that. You know, so. You know, as I like that Zachary said, yeah, you gotta kind of go easy on yourself. It's okay to miss nature, and if you feel disconnected, it's all fine. It's just that's part of the teaching and learning. Anybody else want to share? Michelle?
I think Michelle's having just a little trouble absorbing everything we read.
Oh,
she would like to reread it if it's possible.
No, I don't.
So at some point, not right now, but maybe a copy to her later.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I don't have anything because I don't even remember what we read. So like when we talk between each thing, I'm like not. I don't know. I'm either not paying close enough attention, but something's not clicking. But I'll read it later. Thanks.
So just quickly, I'm gonna go on next, but it's called death, but it's talking about the cyclical nature, like a sun goes up, come down. So each time we go sleep, it's almost going through the birth canal. We forget. It's designed that way. The human forget. We forget a lot of things, and each morning comes. Some of the things we have to redo again, like a reading, revocation, or remind yourself what are you about. So this is a kind of teaching with shaman's death. And each time we learn and you get some kind of habit, habit needed to be there to have a structure. Because we need to learn something. We need to have a certain instruction and process in place. But then after that, it doesn't serve you any longer. We need to willing to take it off. Like a clothes take off, right? And but sometimes you feel security, you bring the old self back, but then you're willing to let that go to welcome the new you. So this is a cyclical process they're talking about. So maybe the shaman's death, it's not necessarily they're dead. It's a part of the teaching of the cyclical nature that we go through. There's a purpose why we go sleep and you forget certain things. There's a reason for the season. There's a why we have a 12-month in a season and things like that. So I'm not sure I'm answering, but it's a great teaching and a great tool to remind ourselves the connection to nature, connection to all the beings, seen and unseen. So
grounding, don't you think that grounding too, that, you know, with the earth, that does also allow you to grow, just like a tree. You know, the tree's roots are growing down and getting the nutrients and grounding out on the earth, and then they're growing up and beautiful. And that's how I see us.
Yay, we are tree. Now we have a good note with a good state of mind. I'm going to throw this in. Let me see. Am I in that right screen? Let me hold on. Do I see this right? Okay. So I'm gonna touch upon initial karma. It may be little. I just wanna. Maybe this is not the right sequence. So just give me a second. I didn't have a chance to shuffle the slide in the right way. I wanted to cover archons from last time, and not this one. Hold on, just give me a second. Yeah, they all look the same. Is this the one? Oh yeah. Do you see the slides of forgiveness? I can't hear anyone.
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. I don't know if you could see it, but I'm going to read out. We covered the archons from the last session. Do you remember that? Oh, the first people who participated, just briefly. So the entities, this galactic mafia, as known as the 15 multidimensional entities. We talked about those entities last time. Those are the one basically put out all those ground up system of sacred geometry, in a 3D matrix, as well as a 4D grid, which is called archon grid, fourth incarnation or reincarnation grid. And then many of us have a hard time to give forgiveness. But I will give you, I will just highlight the additional information or knowledge about them, and perhaps you may feel a little bit have a different perspective toward them. Although, as bad as it sounds, yes, it lasted what, like 48,000 or 50,000 years. Could be longer. This archon grid existed. The member of archon, in a way, has a very sad story. So just to briefly refresh your memory, archons, basically agents, came from not earthbound, somewhere else, other part of the universe. Those are high vibrational beings and are hired by 15 multidimensional beings without the span of knowledge. So here you go. High vibrational beings that were captured in other domination and control planets, taken to technological centers, had their body removed, their vibration rapidly raised in energy until they are experiencing the unity consciousness of an artificial intelligence that is telling them they are God. They are compacted into a little ball of energy and shot across space, smack into the astral realm, and are force incarnated. And then they wake up in 2 years old age and say, I'm a god. Then they go out and became a god. When they finally lost their physical body, they are brought into the astral world and they say, I am God. So those are the member of archons. Usually it used to be 52 members. So basically they're brainwashed and they think they're God, and they put it in the astral world, and they are not judged reading your soul contract and push you back into the earth. Now they have a limited lifetime, like batteries. They could only function the certain years, and then they basically either recycle or the new being come to this kind of training camp and become a part of archon members. Now, Andrew Bartes was able to come to this earth because some of the archon member became conscious, right? Even the archon has ethic or conscious, and after a while they begin to realize what are they doing, and they show you a back door. So some of us, including Andrew Bartes, came through the back door, the broken kind of the contract. And I just want to stop here. Just gonna pass the mic for those who are familiar with Andrew's teaching, such as Zakaru, maybe Zane have some additional knowledge around archons, and I think Ryan couldn't join us today. He's very familiar in this area as well. I wanted to hear your thought. If you could light in a side panel, that's great. I like to call some reaction from here. It's a great way to resolve, and your dense energy is always, always, always fire ceremony. Now, before I go into that, I just want to go back to the screen. Okay, I'm still learning. All right. Okay, that's all right. I could come back. I just wanted to share the knowledge about, we talk about those entities just like the demon or evil, but it's not too far from part of us. I wanted to emphasize that. Those 50 multidimensional beings we covered briefly from the last session, yes, they are quite bad, but they are actually came from high dimension. Like some of them come from 9th dimension. And those are all the people, being we know, Arcturian, Pleiadian, those are starseed, those are the being. So what we don't really have the full capacity or capability to pass judgment to ourselves or others. It's difficult knowing what's been happening to you and all the ancestors, but more we learn, different perspectives we could gain, and perhaps that's going to help you to neutralize some of the issues that you're facing now. I hope you still could see the screen. I'm putting the fire ceremony, and this is one of the great teachings Andrew share with us, and many of you using this as we speak. And I really thank many of you, Ryan and then other members, posting their own fire ceremony, and some of them capture in YouTube and sharing that through the Facebook. I was so appreciative. I really enjoy all the videos that you posted. I used to do this all the time. Now it's so cold, but I'm probably going to do it sometime soon. If anybody could share or have a question on fire ceremony, please write on a sidebar. I could share mine as well, and we'll post on Facebook. The one of the teaching he does is use the 4 elements, elemental energies: fire, water, mineral, which include earth element, rock, crystal, trees, ground, air, right? So those are our friends. Used all those elemental energy and use as a cleansing inspiration. We'll get rid of all the dense energies. So I wanted to emphasize that each time you're going through this dense cycle. I have this one here combined with the 2-week chronic cleanse. This is another teaching that it may be slightly different from many other teaching out there. Andrew actually is the first one, at least to my knowledge, taught or teach our dreaming body, how important for us to dream in a right place and in a right mindset and a right physical body. So he tells us about we dream in gut, which kind of makes sense because our interaction with the spirit realm, it happens in your sacral chakra, which is on top of our intestine. So this is why it's critical or important that we have a clean colons. Clean meaning it's not what do you think? It's a cleanse, colonic cleanse, but it's not necessarily the empty. it means that we have a healthy mucous membrane covering our intestinal alignment. What happened with the Western diet, specifically very dense and acidic, as we repeat this cycle of dense acidic food going through the pipe, the mucous membrane begin to fill with not just organic matter, but the anaerobic bacteria, sometimes yeast, and things that doesn't need to be there. Too much of them, too many of or too much of the particular species, anaerobic type or certain kind, will cause imbalance and making a city after city. They built on top of each other. So your mucous membrane in the intestine built up in a layer, and we cannot communicate. The body have less conductor, so to say, to talk through the layer. So it impacts actually our dreaming body, interestingly. So this is why, this is why he recommend colonic cleanse with fire ceremony while we reading Revocation. So what happened when we reading those Revocation, you feel it, your body feels it. You actually talking to your spiritual body, your other multidimensional bodies, they hear it as you speak, because you are claiming, you giving to them the right of the free will. So what happened is you receive all the message and the information, and what happened is your body is paying it, and you feel as a form of pain or emotion or feeling, or emotion is actually physical manifestation of a feeling. So if you have an emotion, you are already manifested as a physical body, and that need to go somewhere, and usually the form of the releasing a dense energy, or releasing through using a colon, right, going through with like a food you're going through. When your colon is so dense and built up with mucus, it will cause a problem, and you begin to have a nightmare. You begin to have a strange dream that you cannot interpret clearly. That's kind of connected directly through gut. He's pretty extreme. I didn't use. Many people here have, it looks like, a very healthy diet. I don't have very healthy diet necessarily every day, so I know when I need it. I don't do colonic cleanse, but I have a different method. Everybody's different. But especially if you're going through this revocation process, I cannot emphasize enough to do this. A combination with fire. Fire is very powerful. So colonic or some kind of cleansing, healthy diet with fire ceremony, it's a way to go. I'm gonna stop. If anybody else have any mystical experience with some revocation reading, I would love to hear. Or any question.
There you're back.
Anybody like to share your mystical or any thought or experience?
You mentioned anaerobic within the intestinal walls, or filling in. Where does that fill in with yeast and candida?
Oh, it's all, we need it. We need them all. When it become problem if one group overgrown and take over, it's kind of like anything else. So we have what, I don't know, trillion bacteria in our gut, and they are helping us to absorb food, or they convert, right? So we need them. We have to have them. It's just when you have too many of the one species grown, it become problem. So you could easily see it or smell it. Do you see the baby? I don't know, you remember baby when you're changing a diaper? I think Haris would still probably remember. Their poop is less stinky. Yes, because the babies, 70% usually around that area is aerobic bacteria.
Mm.
It's oxygen. They use oxygen to convert. As we get older, it's just a natural things because of what we eat and don't get cleaned up as it's supposed to be. It become more and more anaerobic. So it's get more stinky, like a sulfur, and depending on what you eat, those are mainly anaerobic and methane producing bacteria. So you probably could tell, depending on what you eat, it smells different, the color is different. So, don't just flush it away, smell it, cut it, and I will tell you what kind of things going on in your guts. Well, naturally, you should feel it. You feel good or not. But it's important to pay attention to those things, I assume many people, I know, Dave, what do you eat? You are pretty healthy.
Generally vegetarian, leaning vegan, but like you said, it changes from day to day.
Yeah.
The intent is different than the reality sometimes.
I mean, I think I eat pretty well too, but I've been doing the cleanse thing, and I must say that I had a lot more buildup than what I thought I did still. So, I mean, just stick with it, and eventually your body will decide it wants to clear itself.
It makes sense. It makes sense what you said about we're switching from aerobic to anaerobic as we're putting the toxic forms of food, especially the processed foods, the high alkaline or the high sugar, less raw. Makes sense.
I guess, what type of cleansing? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Let's ask that. What kind of cleansing? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I had mentioned before what we said last week. Maybe you weren't here, I'm not sure. But so it was mentioned that, you can use sage for doing like a smudging type situation in your home. Also, you can drink Himalayan salt, put a little lemon in there and some water, and just kind of let it sit for a little while, and then drink it down. I like to add a little ginger to my water too sometimes. I think that's really energizing. So there's that option. Kind of staying away from meat. Not very much dairy either, if you can. No dairy. Maybe add in a vegan protein supplement. Sun Warrior was mentioned last week. That's supposed to be a really good one. Using essential oils for.
So I just want to clarify. Sun Warrior is not cleansing; it's a protein powder.
Right.
Yeah. So that's.
You just add that in your diet if you're taking out your dairy and meat if you think you need that extra protein. So, anyways, and then there is the essential oils, and they're great. Some of them you can use actually in ingesting them, and make sure you get the right kind for that. Some also are just good to have in your infusion, like a burner throughout the day that can, scent up your air. Lavender for the night is really, really nice. Helps you dream better, just to relax too. Then there is the toning, and of course Michelle and Sarah are both getting really into that. Sarah's professional at that. Then we can also do Reiki if you have the knowledge of Reiki. You can Reiki your water. That's always cleansing. You can Reiki your food. Being grateful for your food is also very cleansing. I like to use a combination of green apples, pineapple, kale, spinach. Just chop it up kind of nice and add it in your blender. Add some water, blend it all up really nice, and you have yourself a nice green shake. It's definitely cleansing. So there's a few options there, and you can also look them up on any organic site if you like to on the internet. There's a lot of really awesome suggestions out there. So yeah, you guys definitely do that. I wouldn't say to just like stop eating everything else and just do that right away. Sometimes that can be really, really hard thing to ask yourself to do. But try to do it toward the evening if you can. If you had to eat whatever during the day, then at 7 o'clock or whatever time you're done eating, have yourself a cleansing shake and let your body cleanse throughout the night, and you'll feel better the next day.
Yeah, thank you. So maybe the next session I will start with the order you said. What do you say, Valerie? Maybe we could put together. And then also Andrew has a very extreme cleansing of a colon, and I also have that somewhere, so I could put that together and post so people could have a spectrum of option. He actually recommended hypocolonic. Is that some kind of? He even said that to go to those clinics, right? For those who have a very high toxicity level, he actually could see it when you're reading the energy. So that was amazing. He has pretty amazing ability.
Sorry about that. I have some friends too that juice a lot, and that's how they like to get their nutrition. But you can get toxic from juicing too, and I did not know that. So this might sound kind of different, but what they do is a coffee enema, and that helps.
Thank you.
To remove
Zachary.
that toxicity.
So yeah, Zachary remember well. Thank you. So hydrochloric, yes, that's it. Thank you. There's like an amazing story about that too. I didn't go there, but nice experience probably. I just want to be cautious with the time. I really want to go through the top line of the Earth history. Is that okay? Anybody has a little bit more time? I know we started.
Yeah, just 1 second here. Michelle has a good point over here. She says Andrew doesn't look like he eats a very healthy diet.
I know. Yeah. He gave me a hard time though.
Yeah.
He may have an unbelievable energy. We'll see. All right. I'm just gonna go. Does everybody have like 10 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. Because maybe just me. I want to go over these things, but hold on. Let me just share the screen. Okay. Hopefully everybody gonna see this. Initial karma. This is the right place to start. You know what? You guys stop me, okay? I just want to go through the overarching theme of the Earth. So Earth now is a karmic retribution planet for a while. Now we are getting over to the next segment, but many of us are still in this realm. So how does karma started? It's a group of beings lived on Earth decided to live here before their contracts. I'm talking this is 50 to 54 million years ago, and spread the skin suits technology, which is back then they looked totally different, but let's say human skin, right? In a way, skin suits technology to other worlds and planets. This technology linked to DNA, that's memories, which can give experience to others, but at the same time eliminated anchorage or ancestral lineage. This is the one who received this technology. So many basically lost it, whole chunk of the memories and their ancestral lineage, which is the anchor. If you lose anchor, you cannot reincarnate. You cannot incarnate. So what happened? The spirit live forever. You want to incarnate, you have to find a place to incarnate. So basically, when you are force incarnated to Earth, because Earth took the old refugee. So Earth became refugee camp and still to this day. Yes. So this is called the timeline genocide that he keep telling us about. And I couldn't understood the first time I heard, but over the course of the time I was able to really understand what this is. Okay, it's gonna let me go through. We'll come back, okay. There is no first naturally evolved race on Earth. There are many civilizations, highly evolved race existed long before Earth was born or created. So human is definitely not the first race. So when I say naturally evolved, means something that we were taught, like a Darwin and those organically evolved species. No, actually, there's nothing. No, because the Earth was engineered, actually built. This entire solar system was built up from bottom up. So there's no such a things. We all came from other universes and galaxies as refugee or immigrants. So that's where the soul family concept of soul family come from. Well, made by mixing of two species, that's so-called hybrid. I think many of us, audience here, know that already. So I like to. It's interesting. I hear the feedback. I like to go over Earth history. So this one slide speaks almost all the key points I like to talk about, but each one has so much depth and layers to it. But I will show you first an overarching theme, and it's okay you don't get it the first time. And I could go each section a little bit more in depth for the next round. But I just want to expose you to the overarching theme so you could position yourself where you are in terms of the this learning course. So the left panel, I love this picture. I know I stole from somewhere in the internet, but it kind of says that, oh, Earth in the beginning, this was 54 million years ago, because the Earth lost 2 millions in other galaxy. So you could say 52, 54. Please don't hammer me on that. These numbers. Long time ago, okay? Earth was 7th dimensional planet. And it was made as a galactic seed planet. It was something 5,000 times bigger than the now. It's a humongous planet. So many of you know when you talk about 7th dimensional, it's not like a matter, like a solid and dense like that now. The beings, like an energetic form, you could shape-shifting. The first consciousness who came here is highly evolved, high vibration beings who had 200 to 400 DNA strands. So imagine that access to different dimension, different things. It was completely different place. There's no concept of time. So everything existed simultaneously. So it's in a bubble here, bubble there. It's just a ball of mass in a sense. If other galactic being looked at the Earth back then from far away, it was just a ball of mass looks like, because everything happening at the same time. It's no hierarchical order. But that's what it's supposed to be. It's a galactic sea planet. So that was a long time ago. Now, there's a couple of other things that happen. Then so many beings wants to experience this Earth, because you could have, 62 different ways to experience, and the 9 different colors or something, like a crazy amount of experience you could get when you come here. Meaning that, let's say if you have a bite of a chocolate, you have a 63 different way to experience that act, one action, biting into chocolate.
Wow.
So think of that. How do you process that? We cannot process, right? We're computer done, but back then you could experience that. So the best of best want to come Earth to have that type of experience. What happened is a huge backlog, literally like line after line and line to get into the Earth to experience. Want to have that. So best of best to come here to have that experience. So what happened is that the being back then, well, how are we going to process all the people who wants to come or being wants to come and experience? They created the one skin suits, so everybody jump into the skin suits and experience, and they leave, right? So it's called like a DNA lineage technology or skin suits programming. However, that Andrew, it's a bit difficult concept to understand, but he calls it skin suits technology. So that's the one everybody wanted to get, everybody wanted to have, everybody wanted to have this technology. So this technology was interesting, made by 3 galactic prime creators. So this solar system was created by 3 prime creators, represent 3 different galaxies. So, that's another concept. But the best of best technology put it together and made this technology so that it could interact with this planet called Earth. So what happened is that since everybody wants to get in, a lot of things happen, become a huge competition among all those races. Long story short, everyone wants to get in, everyone wants to get rid of others, a lot of drama happened. That's how the karmic pollution is so-called created. And all those beings who want to come has all-dimensional technology, have all way to have remote viewing, have all technology or ability to manipulate the time. So what happening as soon as our consciousness brought down to the point where the time concept put in place, everybody begin to manipulate the time to be in the end, which is a graduation timeline, which we are experiencing, entering now. So all the paradox and drama started, and so-called timeline genocide, yeah, because everyone wanted to be that race to have this wonderful planet called Earth. So just to briefly go over, I want to stop the Earth, and I'm not going to talk about the skin suit technology or timeline manipulation today, but just want to give you a summary of what was Earth to begin with. High-dimensional galactic seed planet. Earth has all complete set of codes, which means you could go any galaxy, including the one even do not exist yet. That's how powerful this Earth is. That's why they say past, current, future exist at the same time. It's true for us, but true for planet and galaxy. This is why so many beings want to get in to this race, to this to get the peace of Earth, to start a new universe. The skin suits, which is kind of, I hate to say it's not equal human, but I don't have any word to describe it right now, can go any place without a spaceship as long as you have a cause. So we, like now, feel very limited, but we have the equipment. We don't have operational manual. We may not have all the codes, but we could go any place pretty much as long as we have a code. We could go in our Earth. We could go to different galaxy, different planet. That's how we are built. This.
Makiko, I just want to share I've done that.
I'm sure you did.
I'm sure a lot of people are doing it now. They're discovering this now.
Yes, yes. So we have a multidimensional selves. We operating in a different, time stream, galaxy, universe, and we go through different planet, different place, past, future. So pay attention when you sleep, or pay attention even now, because your other self is watching you, or you as observer is watching what you're doing now. Okay, yeah. So this created the intense competition to get into Earth. No joke. And as I speak, only the best of the best came here. So you, you
Me?
are the best of the best. Believe it or not, otherwise you're not here. Point blank. You are not here. You're not best of the best, the best of the best of the best, the bloodline or race. Okay. So I'm gonna stop here because people come with a different knowledge and perception and thing that nature. I like to forcefully stop here and kind of take question or experience who wants to share around this earth before. Go
Can
ahead,
you share
Zane.
your experience, Sarah?
Go ahead, Sarah.
If you're open to it.
Well, I was in a meditation one day. It was during one of Will's Holy Fire Hangouts. And he did a 15-minute meditation. And he just used the Holy Fire, kind of like Reiki. He just sent the energy, and we take it wherever we wish. And I didn't know this at the time, but apparently we have a Merkaba. And this Merkaba, once we're connecting to who we are, we're connecting more to ourselves via meditation, via dream time, via many other aspects, reconnections to Earth. And I've been doing a lot of that the last 2 years. So with all of that, I was able to connect to my spiritual Merkaba, and it basically created a ball surrounding me, a ball of energy. And in this meditation, I'm thinking I'm staying on Earth somewhere, and the ball shot out of the Earth and went to Sirius. I just knew it was Sirius. It was just something known. And I went to this planet, and I saw the beings there. I went up to the high mountain. There was a castle and everything. It was astounding. I never had that experience before in my life, and was like, what is this? And I'm zipping and zagging to get to this castle. And I get in, and I say, where are all the people? And I look around. I go all the way to the throne room, and I turn around, and everyone's standing there. They're not just humans. They're like amphibious-looking creatures, and well, not creatures, but beings. I want to say beings because they were very sentient. But I was quite shocked that I was able to get there because no one had told me this beforehand. And I turned around and I said hello to everybody. Hello, I love you. And then the meditation was over, and I jumped right back into my body here on Earth. We can all do this. We're awakening to this aspect of ourselves. That's why they say, with this skin suit, with this human body, you're able to go anywhere in the galaxy just with a thought.
I agree. It's amazing, right? And then we're doing this, and you all have those other selves, and just not. Oh, okay. So thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful. I just also want to make sure because what happened is those talk. Some people get really excited. Some people get discouraged because it's not necessarily. It's not in a toolbox right now. I want to make sure that you are not above or below because of these criteria, or not these criteria, because everybody has a different purpose. Meaning that some of us, or many of us actually, intentionally turned off the switch before you even come here.
Yes.
Because what's happening is, if you have that ability, and if you have a specific mission and contract with your soul group or whatever, because you do, it sabotages the mission sometimes. And because you've done this all the time before, right? So don't think that that is a part of ascension, or that is a part of the path that you're going through. I really want to emphasize that, because when I was awakened not that long time ago, I got so upset, right? Holy smack! What I was doing all my life, I was sleeping completely. I didn't know I was the one that dragging the earth from ascending, and I had all sorts of things going through my mind. And oh, wait a minute, no, I was perfectly fine. I'm always perfect. I was perfect before, even before I was awakened. So that sometimes people get carried away. Maybe just me. I want to emphasize that. So.
Well, it's about being an allowance of who you are.
Yes.
Like I say, everybody else has their own mission, their own soul contract. Everyone does.
Thank you, Sarah.
Time
so,
you're here for a reason.
Yes. And then I am not saying anything about you, Sarah, either.
Oh, no. I get it.
It's wonderful. And this.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. I know. Thank you. I just want to make sure, sometimes, some people get in a wrong way. Some people, meaning not you, Sarah, but the audience who listening. So I just want to speak in a different, repetitively, but in a slightly different way.
I just want to reflect on the information that you were given, because it's true. I've discovered this for myself, that it's true.
Yes. So here's what I'm not just passing information because Andrew said. I only pass the information I actually experienced myself, and I do understand. I really, really wanted to share, because truly, my selfish reason, I want you to know that. This is all for me, for my enjoyment. And I think you would understand later on. But I want to make myself clear. The contract we're going through is nothing to do with your own contract.
Oh, yes.
Okay. This is for the contract against system domination, so we could own and claim our sovereignty. And then those are the tools, and a fundamental tool, and it was first time on Earth history that provided. He is a first Earth-born human being, galactic historian who has access to 20,000 other worlds, including galaxy, universe, and planets. So this is how precious he is, and he's much of the materials. It's expensive. Yeah, his reading is crazy, but the foundation of revocation and teaching are free, mostly free on the YouTube and things like that. However, the wording and concept he used is not easy to understand, because he also speaks in a multi-layered, right? Because he's speaking to the multidimensional you, and this takes time. Now, when I found out I have another multidimensional self, so operating the time now. I didn't notice that. Sometimes I have access to that, but sometimes I don't. And especially if you have a multiple of you, and it's difficult. And I understand some of you has like hundreds. So it's okay. it's okay. Um, and it's okay that it's not clear to you at this point. But if this is a part of the path that you're taking, it will be shown. It will come to you, and the things we're going through now is just a preparation. So when the time comes, the message you receive is as clear as possible, and you are also in a sacred neutral point. So you yourself access to a Akashic record yourself, because we all have ability to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that perhaps preventing us from doing it at will is a couple of things, but main thing is we are not necessarily in a sacred neutral all the time, or some of, especially me, right? Some of us need more healing to take place, and that's all needed. And many of us, including me, didn't have, right, the manual, human manual, operational manual. It's not given to us. It was on purpose. It was placed by design. And I want to go through that, the reason why it was placed that. And before you come here, you knew that too. So I like to go over in the next rounds so we understand where we are, why we are in this condition. And I want to stop here, and I want to take the kind of thought, because this is really participant-driven boot camp. Based on your interest and focus, I would change the content for the next. So I want to stop here to kind of take the feedback from all of you. What is the area you wanted to go deep dive, or you want to just zip through? If you could give me feedback, it will be really helpful.
Can I ask a quick question, if you could?
Yeah.
Having to do with the sacred neutral, I understand the value of that for me, particularly when I'm researching something like the government or banking or something like that, to try to not get emotionally invested, to just have that information and learn from it.
Yeah.
In my personal life, I'm trying to, warm my heart, to fill myself with light, etc., etc. And that, can you call that neutral? I mean, I'm a little bit confused as to, and Andrew talks about dark and light forces and how they can both be problematic at times. And so
Yes.
in terms of personal discovery, can you just elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, that's more than one question.
Sorry.
So first step,
It was a multi-dimensional question.
The first things I teach everyone is to love yourself, like almost to the point that you fall in love with yourself. Without that, you really can't go forward. Do you love yourself to the point where you don't need anybody else? Or do you love yourself so much to the point that you really don't care any single being come to you, say something or act something, or you see somebody, you really don't care? And that's how you start. The good gut check is to take record, journal. I will ask you to write down. In the next 3 days, you see something of somebody, and it trigger any kind of emotion, not feeling, emotion that attached to judgment and justice. You need to write it down. The second thing you can do, you wake up in the morning in a bed. The first things you think of, I love myself. And you create one avatar. Just look like you, except this avatar is like a completely loving himself. Really, like 150%, almost to the point that you're disgusting. You're just disgusting this individual, loving himself, which is another you, and you bring this avatar to everywhere you go on that day. And then every time, every little decision you make in that day, let's say you're going to eat something, are you going to brush your teeth, you're going to look at your face, right? And ask this being what he going to say, what he going to do, every single action and thought and feeling you're going to have that day, and then match that. Zane, are you here? And then see how much gap you have, because you are sacrificing yourself on behalf of something else or somebody else or some opinion of others. Do you think sometime you pick something off the grocery shelf? You really want to have this $10 piece of dark chocolate from Mayan, but you make excuse to take Hershey bar? I don't know, just really making that up.
That's a really good example.
Or you look at your mirror, holy schmuck, what is that? What do we have on our teeth, or what is that? Are you doing that to yourself at any moment? And you see yourself as an avatar and totally falling in love with your face, every single square inch of it. You just cannot stop looking at yourself because you love it, every single piece of you. Another thing, you go into the cafe, you pick up your organic vegetable, and somebody next to you ordering like sandwich with a bunch of preservative meats and a Coke, and you look the person up, holy schmuck, what is he doing to himself? Are you doing that? Right? Write down every single thing. Next 3 days, what do you do? What do you see as a people? Anything that trigger your thought, you write down everything. When your journal are not filled with anything, and if when you match you to this avatar, is a time you could truly going through those revocation in a sacred neutral way. Now, it is natural to get angry. I think you should be angry. If it's not angry, you're not human, because anger is a very important emotion. As you're going through, once you get to the point yourself, right? And you go, now you know, you're kind of align yourself to you, your heart. And then you read and you pick out all the area that you make you angry. And then that is a place you need to work on. It's kind of it's a muscle testing. This is all muscle testing. And go back and assess yourself. Just assess without judging injustice. That's all we could do in this three-dimensional assessing. Every time you try to judge, you're judging yourself now. Well, I get angry, and you're attaching that some value to it, right? Oh, I'm not good enough because I'm not totally neutral. You're just assessing right now. Okay, this is the area that we need to work on. So that's it. It's putting aside and bullet point. I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. I'm going to come back as many as possible, as many as needed, until we became just assessing, not judging or passing a judgment. This is why I'm giving you more and more information as we go through, because there's a layer. There's a why this being doing this, what it's doing now. This is a why prime creator are neutral. All prime creators are neutral. The one below is neutral. The only when we become not neutral is the fourth and fifth degree away from prime creator. Only reason they are not neutral because to expand our mind, consciousness going. Because otherwise we can grow sometime. If you're neutral for every single thing, every single point, how we could grow? It's needed. But one thing we can't, we don't have full capability to do is to passing a judgment and justice. I don't know. I didn't answer well.
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But it's a good question.
I wanted to add, can I add something to that? Coming from a really dense life situation, I had to hear that sending love to my heart was also helpful to the entire population and the earth, for me to be willing to do that, because I could not look in the mirror and say I love you. I could not do a lot of those things. Or also the idea of sending love to my inner child, because you can love a child, because I can love a child. Like, I can love that part of me that experienced a lot of pain, right? So I can send love to that much more easily than I could, like, everybody would just say, love yourself. And I'm like, does not compute. Like, so I think that starting with something simple, more simple for me, like sending love to my inner child, was a beginning. That's all.
Yeah.
May
Thank
I
you.
also add to that? And I get what Michelle is saying as well, because I was at that point myself. And the time where I couldn't even look in the mirror and say, I love you. Nature is neutral. So if you can go outside and just look at the animals, look at the plants, the water, and just say, I love you to those things. Because nature is neutral, you will also be neutral about it, because unless you've had a negative experience with any of those features, you will be in a neutral energy. So before I could even say, I love you to myself, I began telling the animals, I love them. And I would walk around and tell every single animal, the flowers, the tree, like you name it. I would walk around and tell them all that I love them, because I had no ideas, no preconceived ideas of any other thing outside of myself. And I can tell them with a full heart that I love them. So for those who aren't able to reach themselves just yet, that would be a good way to reach themselves outside of themselves, because everything is one. We are all one. So if you begin saying, I love you to the tree, to the animal, to the flower, those are part of you. And so in turn, you are actually saying you love yourself. You're just working yourself up to the vibrational frequency where you can look in the mirror and say, I love you. Because once you start giving love, it continues, it magnifies, it what's the word? It builds momentum, you see. So that's what I would offer to anyone who can't tell themselves that they love themselves right at the outset. I offer my.
And I think that's why, I'm sorry. I think that's why a lot of us have pets, at least in my experience, is that it's this little sentient being that you can love unconditionally.
Yes.
You see it all the time, every day.
Yeah.
It's just there's none of the judgments or attachments that come with interpersonal relations.
Yeah.
But one thing that still confuses me, how is love neutral? You know, it's like
How
that
does it
seems
love?
like polarity.
It's not.
Yeah, opening a whole new level of the book. So it's interesting because this is why I actually tell you what, human brain can't even comprehend what love is. We talk about love, but that love, it comes so many different perspective, angle, and different level. It's a best say that let's say we can't understand what really love is. Is that fair? And the neutrality that you probably picking up from is unconditional love that many of us talk about. Unconditional love based on, I could be wrong though, just let me finish this. Unconditional love, the energy of the unconditional love and vibration is actually the energy that we feel from the ultimate source, because that is that energy that have a longest breadth and depth, in a way, in a limited words. I'm sure some scientists could say in a much more elegant way, but that is if you really think of energy as a particle or wavelength, that unconditional love energy is the least resistant, and so the longest. So let's say that if you are away, in terms of distance in space-time, that is the energy force, the most effective to reach and communicate. So this is why the prime creator, the source, the ultimate source, is the ultimate vibration, ultimate frequency, the ultimate things, because it has to send a message with this particular wavelength, which is matched to the human linguistic unconditional love energy. So some being tell unconditional love is a healing, right? I think it's very well said. It's Reiki healing, and the distant Reiki, it's very similar, almost exactly the vibration of unconditional love energy. So it's no polarity. That's why some could say love has no polarity, because when the being said about that statement, probably talking about unconditional love. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, beautifully put. Thank you.
I speak too much. I should shut up. I should.
You're the teacher, by the way.
I'm sorry?
You're the teacher, by the way. That's your role.
I was a teacher many times, many lifetime, or I connected with the teacher spirit many. I understand. That's what Andrew told me, but I do see them time to time. The different teacher shows up. This is why I know my ancestor and DNA lineage, where my soul family, based on the people, shows up. But anyway, I like to. Is anybody else that Zakaru or Harris, Dave? I know Dave, you just joined today, so you may have some questions. Anything that you want me to cover more
Dave,
next round? Go ahead, Dave. Oh, we can't hear you.
muted.
There, I was muted. I didn't realize I was muted. Okay. One of the things I'm still sort of wrapping my head around is the fact that when you're looking at something and then you're putting your opinion about what you feel and see in that you're really reflecting on how you feel and see about yourself. I like that.
Absolutely.
And not just the mirror, literally, like you said, like nature having no preconceived notion or it's gender neutral. It doesn't necessarily care about your history. It just knows that you exist alongside of it. And yet we also we have words in our language that indicate beauty, and yet what is beauty is really all based on our life experience of how we define beauty. Just like love too. That was the other one. Is love does not exist in a dictionary. It exists from the moment you were conceived or prior to the point you are now.
Well said. You did well. You didn't have many questions. today?
They come afterwards.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. Zane, why don't you speak up? That's a cool one.
This is from Yogananda. I was actually searching for a poem that I will share when I find it.
Oh,
It's,
cool.
the last line is, it's something like, myself and every particle of my being dances with celebration because you made me. Like the final line. That's paraphrased, but it's basically, I suppose it's the same thing as unity consciousness, right? About unconditional love is the integration with the prime creator at a personal level.
Wow. I'm reading it as you're speaking. It's just so, the voicing and the way the things you post is so poetic. I don't think I'm just thinking anything when you're doing this. I just like just feeling it energy.
Yogananda's energy.
It's like kind of mesmerizing. I was like, I go, wow. Thank you. I hope you post this on a Facebook as well. It's you know.
Yeah, I'm going to keep a little blog of my own going. I'll try to
Okay.
share that.
All right.
All
That's
right,
very
I
sweet.
do have a question. I obviously at the last moment I thought of 2 or 3 people that I thought would be appropriate for this, but was no way to add them to the invite because it's a secret invite.
Secret.
Well, if you send them the link for the invite, it says unattached or whatever. It does not allow them to read the invite and then click on the link for the groups, etc. If they're already Google Plus and all that stuff, they would not know about the invite on Facebook because they can't read it. It's not accessible because it's a closed invite. There's actually nowhere on the link to invite somebody.
Oh gosh. Okay. I can't answer. I'm not tech. I know Valerie is tied up right now. We'll solve that
later. Okay.
For another time.
We'll take care of that later. So invite in Google, I think. Okay. Well, we'll look into that. So just I'm conscious with the time. I'm not sure how much more time people have, but just to guessing from based on your feedback, you're okay with this speed, and you not necessarily have a specific question at this moment. Is that true? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go through the next round. I'm gonna go a little bit more deeper into that process. How do you say this? Evolution of Earth. So we kind of, it's important to know the history because they help your healing process. And I also introduce one revocation each time so that we have a time to consume and understand the digest. And perhaps you could share the dream as things happen after you do this revocation over and over. I encourage people, if you have energy left, to read out loud any kind of revocation that you feel like, and you start reading to you and your soul and your other selves, and offer it to them because they don't have it. See, some of yourselves in different universe or galaxy, those are non-free will. This is the only 100% free will universe. They don't have it. There's one of the reasons you may be here to give them opportunity. You could do. You are free, right? Because you can do that to another you, but another you cannot do themselves, or another you cannot tell you. I don't know. You understand what it is, but the important to read it, and reading. It's just reading. You're reading. It's not just you for you. Another you and the observer watching you. So you will begin to manifest, or you begin to connect to different things in a different way, and it's important to share with others. So it's solidify and go into Earth Akashic record. So I will close this with our initial reading, just 2 slides. I will start just some, let's see, yeah. I want to read 2 sections. If one could finish the second slide, that would be perfect. See how we torture ourselves with perceived debt created by others. See how you can come to a cyclical process of letting go with the best of intention, so all that come back to you is perfect synchronicities with great mystery.
I call to Great Spirit who lives within great mystery. You who is the source of sources, I call to you in this sacred moment of infinite reflection of who I am and what I am doing in this temporal now. I call to your wisdom so I may see the humbleness of my position within my own soul-family interaction, so I may nurture all my past and future generations with the wisdom of living in the now.
Thank you, Zane. Thank you, everyone, for joining today.
Thank you, Makiko.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
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 Love and joy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.